Arsenal too good again, 3-0 against, I want to pronounce this right, Glimt. Of course, not a powerhouse of European football by any stretch of the imagination, but rotation tonight. The likes of Fabio, Vieira, Nketiah and co. looking very, very good indeed, really pushing hard to try and force themselves into the first team reckoning at Arsenal ahead of a massive weekend and a huge, huge game against Liverpool Football Club. Now, many people will say you can't talk about today's game. Today means nothing. And there's one thing I'm going to say before we move forward. There's one thing I'm going to say. Consistency within the plan of action is key for winning major trophies. We've seen that many, many times with Pep and Klopp in England over recent years. And we're going to delve into that and much, much more. Arsenal, scary as ever. Let's go. Welcome back to the Football Terrace. Arsenal win again. They set themselves up very nicely indeed for the big clash against Liverpool Football Club this forthcoming Sunday. Remember, we will be live after the game on the Football Terrace, giving you the chance to have your say as ever. And what can I say about tonight? Yeah, listen, this was never going to be a game for the ages, a classic game that would be remembered. Like Arsenal fans in 2 months will forget this game, and that's not a dig at anybody tonight, but it's one of those matches. But what I saw tonight was a team so deeply enriched in this system and this style that Mikel Arteta has produced, so together with an abundance of cohesion, together with the cauldron of noise being created by the Emirates Stadium. It's a flawless team performance. You had a number of players that came in today. I want to name them all, by the way. So Turner in goal, made some good saves. Tomiyasu, holding, okay? You had, of course, Lokonga started the game. Vieira started the game. I want to get these names right. Marquinhos, Nketiah. You had a number of players that came in today who haven't had a lot of football. There was a media today trying to stir up trouble for Arsenal, talking about how Nketiah is really unhappy at the lack of first-team opportunities he's had. He's not, and that was kind of a really weird way of twisting it. He's not unhappy. He just wants to get more game time. But of course, he's aware Arsenal lost a few games because of the passing of the Queen. If he'd had those games, he'd be less unhappy. But he's not unhappy in a negative way. There's no toxicity. There is no infighting. People aren't bursting at the seams to get away. This is, I'm unhappy that I've not had the chance to fight for my place, but I know Mikel Arteta is going to give it to me. And you saw that tonight. Fabio Vieira saying, I want to start in that 10 role. Nketiah saying, I want to start in that number 9 role. And they won't as of now, but they're there. And look, Arsenal have impressed me all season. And I know I haven't even looked at the comments yet. I'm not turned them off. They're on. Of course, they're on. But, Arsenal fan. I've been told off today for mocking people's voices. The irony of me mocking people's voices, the individuals that are pretending to be offended have said that Saeed should be dead because he's so fat. One of them is Islamophobic, and the other has threatened to beat me up if he sees me because I'm a fan cammer. Yet voices offend these people. But let me do the voices anyway. Oh, Terry supports Arsenal. We're not really a Man United fan. The accent gives it away. Not really. I'm just unbiased, and I'm going to call a spade a spade. It's as simple and as straightforward as that. And Arsenal Football Club have been nigh on perfect this year. Only one game where they lack perfection, and I was quite happy in that game, if I'm being honest. But yeah, look, another very, very good night tonight. And a lot of people won't take too much out of this, but I would. And the reason in the build-up to this, I mentioned City and Liverpool, is when those two teams were at their pomp, and City still are, when City rotate and you see 4, 5, 6, 7 fringe players, academy players come in, everyone goes, they look just as good. I remember a few years ago, Liverpool would rotate and everyone's like, oh my God, the system is so good. They look just the same. Doesn't matter who's dropped. It doesn't matter who comes in. The system still works. And that's what brilliant teams do. And of course, would the team that started today be able to beat Liverpool at the weekend? Probably not. But that means you can rotate without dropping points, having bad results. You only brought your players on late in the game. I want to get the minute right. I swear it was about 75 minutes. Could have been even later. When they come on. Oh, no, it was a little bit earlier than I thought, to be fair. It was around the 60th minute. I thought it was a little bit late, to be fair. It was their subs at the 74th minute, 75th minute. But you brought on those players comfortably leading just to see it out. Get the legs working a little bit, get them ready for the weekend. And that's exactly what you want to be able to do. Yeah, 62 minutes, Don Juan has got to say that. I thought it was a little bit later, to be fair. But still, 30 odd minutes in the legs. And it's actually important sometimes to keep a player moving in that way. It wasn't intense. It means they probably won't have to do as intense a session tomorrow because they've got a good little workout now. And yeah, listen, in the cold hard light of day, it's Arsenal looking very, very good again. And Nketiah getting that goal, which I swear that's like 21 goals in 40 starts. It's pretty good for a player everybody says is trash. Rob Holding, man like Hairline FC, with the goal as well. And then Fabio Vieira having another good game on the fringes for Arsenal. And I do think there's a serious player in Fabio Vieira. Different from Odegaard. I'm not going to say better because people actually get triggered by it, but I think he's good enough to at some point compete. Equally, he can move left, he can move right. He gives you that extra rotation and versatility, especially with Smith Rowe being out injured. So look, a very, very good performance from Arsenal. But what stood out more to me was the consistency with performance, the consistency with style, the togetherness of the team, irrespective of who started. That's a sign of a very, very, very together squad playing for the manager and, more importantly, playing for you, the Arsenal fans. Let's have a look at some of your comments that have come through here. Arteta's substitutions were very bad. I'm going to disagree. I'm going to disagree with your big man, Colin Young. I'm disagreeing, Cole, because they weren't. They weren't bad. I get the whole, what if they got injured when they came on? Do you know how intense training is? Do you think, in training, like there are proper tackles every day. Legit. You're just as likely to get injured in training as you are in a game. And I only learned that recently. Mad to be 36 years old and just learning that. When we sometimes moan at managers, why did you play Joe Bloggs? He got injured. He didn't need to. You train with huge levels of intensity. So it's a nonsense. Good subs for me, in my opinion. Vieira, 1 assist, 1 goal. Yes, he got that. Got to sharpen your knife. Sorry, got to sharpen your knife even if you don't use it every day. This is true. I do that with my machete. I've slept with a machete under my bed pretty much since I was about 16 years old. And that thing gets sharpened on the regs. Completely legal, by the way. I bought it from Homebase. You can buy machetes in Homebase. It's for the garden. I just keep it in my bedroom in case I notice any of the bushes in my garden kind of like out of shape and I've got to go chop them down real quick. That's all it's for. Or if, like when I was about 21, I caught someone climbing from a bedroom window. That was scary. Do you know the funniest thing about that was? I was like, bruv! He looked at me and went, all right, mate. like I was his friend. And then he jumped back out the window. So, yeah, anyway, just it's for the garden. That Jesus assist was mad. Listen, everyone knows how good Gabriel Jesus is, or how good I think he is. And he's proved a lot of people wrong this year. I need to call out Danny Devil in the details because he's right about most things. Man said Javier Hernandez. And I love the little P. But Jesus' levels above that, no doubt. Let's have a little butchers here at some more of these comments before I bring Gunner Souls out. We've got Jason to come on. Is Jason at the game? You're at the game, Jason. Jessica Black is with us as well. And to the people saying we don't have squad depth, open your eyes, little fellas, because we do. Let me take a little sip there of my ice cold drink. It didn't matter. I get more enjoyment out of Arsenal games right now than I do Man United. Is that weird? You got to remember, this is my job, but it's a bit weird. A bit weird. Terry just hates United's current form. Yeah, I do, but that's got nothing to do with how I feel about Arsenal legitimately. That's not it at all. It's just, I enjoy it. I don't know what it is. I'm kind of enjoying everyone that predicted Arsenal being bad this year being wrong and trying to work their way out of it. It's a little hobby of mine. I enjoy people making mistakes. I watch them. I love trying to watch people trying to get out of a trap. I didn't find the film Saw scary. I found them intriguing. How are you going to get out of this one, you mug? That's how I look at it. It's the same thing. Terry, I really appreciate how unbiased you are. That's not a problem. It's not a problem. I've always been like it. The problem is with my unbiased thoughts is that when my unbiased thoughts you don't agree with come up, most people say they're an agenda and they're biased. I'm just like this all the time. And that's why every season you'll see a certain fan base go, do you really support a different club? You can't really be a Man United fan because you're being so nice about Liverpool. How can you say Liverpool are the best team in the world when you're a Man United fan? Because when they are, they are. Can't lie. I'm a lot of my biggest problem in life is I tell the truth too much. It's one of the I say like I'm trying to do this whole Glazer out thing, and everyone's like, well, maybe if you were just like a little bit nicer to the Man United fans you want to give up the season tickets, they'd listen. But I can't be nice to them. They keep threatening to beat me up. Most of them wouldn't do it. Some of them look a little bit meatheady. Do you know what I mean? But I can't. I just got to say it how it is. The world's too soft. The world's too soft. Terry, a big fan of the Smiths. Yeah, I used to be, but I'm not. Morrissey now. Morrissey annoys me now. As he's got older, I'm not really a big fan of Morrissey for one reason or another. Even if you predict Arsenal, you're still not wrong. It's still the beginning of the season. Yeah, I get that. Terry, how dare you pay your Sky subscription? I called them out today, though, innit? I said, listen, they basically like, well, I'll give up my season ticket if you give up Sky Sports. I didn't only say that. I said, I'll give up Sky Sports and I'll stop making Man United content if you, man, give up your season tickets. Do you know how many of them have replied to me? None! Not one! Not one has opened their mouths and allowed vibrations to come out and say, oh, okay, I'll give it up. Because I'm going to go straight back to Arsenal after I say this, because they care more about going to games and getting the Glazers out. That's 100% acceptable, but just stop tweeting Glazer out. I don't like virtue signalers in my life. Like, I don't like idiots that go, I don't like capitalism. It's completely wrong on every level. Let me just tweet about it on my iPhone. Get out of here. Get out of my life. Move on, you prick. Anyway, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I just can't abide hypocrites at that level. That level. Do you know what I mean? It's literally like me preaching to you to be a vegan and then going out and having a Big Mac. It's a madness. Anyway, back to Arsenal. Did that hurt your ears? Oh, I'm very sorry. I'm very sorry, my people. Terry, what's your predictions for Sunday's game? I've got a video coming out tomorrow. You gotta wait. You gotta wait for the. I'm gonna save stuff for the content. Content's coming out tomorrow. I've got some big messages in it though. It's already recorded. I already know what's going to be said. Do you know why? Because I already said it. But it's coming out tomorrow, my guy. Thank you very much. Right, let's get a little panel out here. We're going to have a Gunnar Souls coming out. Jessica Black's coming out. KJ's backstage. I don't think he's coming on. We've got Jason coming on as well to have his say. Terry, admit you are enjoying watching Arsenal. I've enjoyed the football because I'm a football fan and I'll always enjoy good football. I'll be honest with you, though. When Arsenal score goals, I'm not celebrating. I'm like, I don't want them to win. But it's I just got to call things as they are. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you just got to do it. You just got to be real. You just got to be real. Good evening, Terry. This is from Lynn Simpson. I like watching your show because I feel you are very balanced. And if you were to give Arsenal criticism, it would be constructive. Of course. And like, sometimes I'll laugh about things, but I've always been like that my whole life. I'm only loyal to like a very small group of things in this world. And that's my children, my friends, and there's a very small amount of them. I don't believe that you really can have more than maybe 5 to 10 true friends. And whatever person or people or company pays my wages. Those 3 groups of people are the only people I'm loyal to. And I am loyal to Man United, by the way, because I love them. But I'm loyal to the nth degree. So if you're shit, I'm going to say the crap because I think that's the best thing for you to hear. I told you before, if baby Freya comes to me and says, Daddy, I want to be a singer, and she starts singing and she sounds like me, I'm going to tell her, no, you're not good enough. Not because I'm a bad man, but I'm not going to fill her head with delusion. Simple as that. Same with football opinion. If I tell you, do you think Arsenal are good? If I don't think you're good, I'm not going to say you're good. Why am I going to lie to you just to make you feel good? It's not what I'm about. I could have lied for the past 6 years on social media and had 10 times the followers. Just won't do it. Just won't do it. Can't do it. Won't lie. Maybe I should. Probably be in a better place in life. But there we go. Terry, we need a gal on. A gal's got the link. I don't know where a gal's at. I don't know where he's at. I shared the link. But there we go. Right. Gunnar Souls, Jessica Black, Jason on their way out now. Let's do this. Jessica's here. Gunnar Souls is here. Jason as well. Hey, look at you. Look at you, Jason.
Yeah, it had to be done. Bro, I just turned up to the Emirates with a suit, you know. Just came back from work, you know. Casual win. 3-0 win, you know. Gas. Light 3 points. Of course.
Where you been today? School?
Nah, work.
I'm joking. Good, good, good. Good. Jess, Gunner Souls, welcome as well. How you both doing?
All good.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
happy with the
Egal's
win?
at the game.
Oh, is it the game?
By the
Oh,
way.
no, he is at the
I
game.
think
He
he
is at the
is.
game. Yeah, he said it.
Yeah.
I saw his tweet earlier. Yeah. Who's going to speak?
Oh, I thought
Yeah, I'll
Souls
go
was gonna
first then.
go. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say one thing. Finally, I can sleep in peace. You know, no one can criticize me for being Arteta in and believing in the process and talking about it and hampering on about that we need to give the guy time. Finally, people are starting to see and realize what I've been talking about. Because I remember the Football Terrace retweeted one of my tweets when I said there's a lot of fundamentals we carry over from Manchester City's like sort of philosophy. And I got a lot of backlash and a lot of stick for that. But now people are starting to call us the B-Tech Man City. And I'm kind of happy about that because I don't mind getting criticized and then people turning over. But you know what the most impressive thing is today? We rotated our 11, and I genuinely could not tell you if we rotated or not. That's the most impressive thing. Yeah, granted, yes, Nketiah, Jesus, I get it. I'm not saying quality to quality, but I'm talking about the way we played, the way we approached that game, the way we sort of started that game. We didn't drop back. Our heads weren't dropped. Um, Defensively, just the same, committing numbers forward. Not a single player looked like they were out of place or they weren't up to the levels. And to be fair, at times I was like, you know what, Marquinhos could do a job for Saka. Fabio Vieira is totally different to Odegaard, and that's exactly what we need. Finally, Taney's getting those minutes in to become the player he needs to be, especially if we're going to play him against Liverpool. And today, he was phenomenal. Like, I want him to play. And you know the one thing he did that should be repeatedly told to those players, shoot, because you never know what can happen. And his angle, you should never really shoot. It's a dead opportunity. But he took a shot, hit the post, and Nketiah scored. I hope that's ringing through them because we don't shoot enough. There's sometimes where we make the extra pass, we take an extra touch, or we do something, and it's so annoying because that's the difference to why United beat us and we didn't beat them. We had 39 touches in your box and we only had 10 shots. That's the contrast. Today, that'd be massively different. A lot of our touches in the box would have led to shots or opportunities. Even if you look at it, we're not dwelling on the ball as much. So it's incredible to see our second team, by the way, do this.
Yeah, I hear you on that. Igal's joined us as well. He's at the game tonight. How you doing, mate?
I'm doing good, Terry. I'm doing good. I'm not gonna lie. I was watching that game and I'm just saying to myself, our team from a year ago doesn't just come here with their B team and just win like that. We controlled the first half. Second half, we were a little bit more defensive. We made some substitutions. I don't think they're really necessary, but you know what? What it did was it energized the team and it gave us a second win to get that third goal. Bodo and Glimt, you know what? They came here with their fans and they were absolutely energetic the whole entire game. Shout out to them. They did what they had to do, and they actually created some chances, scared us for a little bit. But shout out to Fabio Vieira, absolutely stupendous for that header for Rob Holding. Rob Holding cleared, got a goal and made a goal line clearance in the second half that kept a clean sheet for us. And Eddie Nketiah, he's just always there. He's just always available, always ready to get that ball, always ready to link up play. And he's just absolutely gone leaps and bounds from what I seen from him a couple of years ago. Shout out to him. And Gabriel Jesus' dribble. Whoo! If I tell you that third goal never happens with any of our former strikers, I'm telling you right now, none of our former strikers have that tight control, that ability to do that. And you know what? Just shout out to the whole team. Shout out to the coach. And you know what? We're ready for Liverpool. Bring them on. Let's go.
Do you agree with all that, Jess? Oh, he's gone. Do you agree with what he's saying there?
Yeah, I mean, I think one of my biggest bugbears with the fan base is that I think we've been a little bit like revisionist historians when it comes to how we perform in the group stages of the Europa League. We've never been good. We always rotate the squad and then there's a lack of cohesion or the team is not playing at the same levels, and so we have this drop off and then the real team has to come and save us. That's always been kind of how it is. But like Sol said, the team plays the same type of football. There's not a lot of drop off. It definitely is like definitely a tier below, but it's not a huge drop off where it feels like, okay, we'll get the starters on at halftime because this isn't working, or we don't look like we're going to score. Remember those days where it was like, we don't look like scoring, we don't look like scoring. And so I think it was a professional performance. I do think that we went out there, we got the 2 goals, and then the second half we kind of took the foot off the gas because we didn't need to do anything beyond that. And the only thing I disagree with Igal on is needing to make those subs. I do think that at that point in the game, I could see Bodo Glimt maybe lucking their way to a goal because we had gotten a little bit sloppy around the 50 to 60th minute mark. And so I think just bringing on Jesus and Saka re-energized the team to a point where it was like, okay, now we're back on top, finish out the game. And they're not going to suffer from having 20, 30 minutes in their legs. Like they're not going to suffer from that. So yeah, I think it this was just so much better than what it was just a year ago. We were suffering so badly in the group stages, and now we're kind of just not walking through it, but we're putting in professional performances. So, I have nothing to complain about. And Fabio Vieira is definitely a player. Like he's definitely, I thought was the most impressive out of the players that are kind of on the fringes. Tierney and Tomiyasu are starting level fullbacks, so I'm not really looking at them. They're great players, but Vieira to me is something totally different. And I would say the only player that I was disappointed in maybe slightly was Marquinhos. I don't think he had as big of an influence as maybe I anticipated, but 3-0 win, there's not much to really complain about.
No, I don't think there is. I can't understand anything that any Arsenal fan would be upset about at this moment in time. I really, really can't. Ahead of what every weekend I say this about Arsenal, and I mean it. This is going to be another one of those weekends where we've already seen Rory Jennings do it. We've seen Lawrence from the kickoff do it. Every week, more and more content creators come out with their apology videos. They want to jump on the bandwagon. They want to be part of the Arsenal crew. And some people may say I'm doing that. It's not really it. Like the Terrace has always covered multiple teams, but everybody every week now is like, oh, I'm going to stop the Arsenal agenda and be nice. It'll be Goldbridge soon. Jason Cundy will join forces. You know what I mean? Jamie O'Hara will eventually turn around and go, oh, actually, I think they're pretty good. It's going to happen one by one by one by one. They all already believe it and know it, but they're just not willing to say it as of yet. They're just kind of hanging on. And then we're going to end it. So I say we, I just meant from a social media point of view. We're going to end it. And I'm predicting the date now. December 26th, 2022. Lee Gunner becomes Arteta in. I can't wait for that day. Honestly, that day would be better than Jesus coming back down from the sky or any other prophet returning, depending on your preference. I'm just saying now, that will be the greatest day ever in history. Honestly, it will be, what would it be better than? It'd be better than when Rocky came back. One of them ones, trust me, I can't wait. When Lee Gunner, I can't wait for the fallout. It'll be amazing. Just him saying I actually was wrong about Arteta. It's coming. Lee Gunner's going to do it, no doubt about it. But there we go. I'm just joking, people. Calm yourselves down. Calm yourselves down. I don't even believe in God. Relax. What are we saying here? We, Terry Flewers. Yeah, I did say we. What I meant I meant it is in like the social media community, my brother. I addressed that pretty quickly with that Freudian slip. But there we go. Stop blaspheming, Terry. Bruv, we ain't living in Salem in the 1300s, bruv. I can say what I want. Do you know what I mean? But there we go. God gave me this. If God's real, he gave me this sense of humor and I'm allowed to use it. Do you know what I mean? There we go. No, I'm not reading that out. Terry, you're the president of the Arsenal crew. Maybe. Can you imagine? Sometimes it's good to have an outsider come in and run things. So maybe I could run the Arsenal fan base. Keep you all in check. Tell you all when you're getting too emotionally attached. Tell you all when you got to call your owners out. Like, because I've got no emotional connection. Could work. They always say like some of the best parents are non-parents because they're not emotionally involved. So maybe that's how it works. Jason, how confident are you about beating Liverpool this weekend?
Yeah, you know what? I just about to come to that question actually. Like, I'm definitely confident because compared to last season to this season, the difference is that we started games on the front foot. And you know what? I was a bit like negative last season as well in terms of the way Mikel Arteta was playing, and rightfully so. And I don't want people to call me a flip flop because I say it how it is. Last season we were absolutely crap. I'll say it how it is. Performance were good, but this season I'm game by game. Every time I go to a game, I say 3 points, 3 points collecting. I believe in this team because the players showed fight, and after that top four miss, the players showed character, fight. And you can see that anger from the players as well, how much they missed that top four. And yeah, I believe that we'll get a result against Liverpool because Liverpool is not that side, and they're a totally different team without Mane, and their play used to be with Mane coming on that side, but there's no more Mane. I'm telling you right now. But yeah, that's all I'm saying.
I hear you on that. How about yourself, Souls? I mean, Liverpool have been a team that you've really struggled against in recent years. We recorded the 12th man earlier, and that was kind of the theme with Gunali and Hassan. That's out tomorrow morning. People, make sure you're all tuning into that. The theme is very much like from Liverpool fans: you never beat us, you never beat us, you never beat us. Do you think you're going to break that sequence this weekend?
I mean, Klopp better be, having the speakers out, putting Northern Forever on, because I'm telling you, the Emirates this season is different. The vibe, the team. I'm telling you, no Mane. And out Trent, this is a guarantee. This is not a prediction, but a spoiler. Trent is getting cooked by Martinelli. Do you know when Klopp said this guy is the future? You're going to find out on Sunday why that was said. I'm telling you, I am so confident we're going to win this game. I don't care what anyone has to say. I'm living in my deluded bubble. We are going to compete for the title. I'm going to live it until I can't, because it's been so long. I've been waiting for this moment my whole life to be able to sit there and go, we're finally competing with the best. And you know what? I already know the media spin. Liverpool are shit. They didn't beat anyone. They have been in bad form. Yeah, say what you want. At the end of the day, people say we can't beat the top six because we lost to United. Come Spurs, we slapped them. And this is going to be another story, and it's going to be another nail in Klopp's coffin. And his 7th season curse is yet to come, and he will get sacked this season. And Arteta's going to be the beginning of that. And I can't wait. I can't wait for the slapping Liverpool are going to get. And I can't wait to shut their fan base up for telling us we can't beat them. Humble yourselves, all right? Humble yourself. That's all I'm going to say. And City are next.
Are you? Wow, City as well. City as
Do you
well.
know
Listen,
why I say that?
yeah, why do you say that?
City struggle to a certain type of team. When you go toe-to-toe and show them no fear, City do struggle. They don't really have an answer for that. Newcastle did it. Granted, they kind of flopped that as well because it turned to be 3-3. But the minute you show Pep's side no fear and you go toe-to-toe and say, you know what, we're here to play, they don't seem to always have an answer for it. And as long as you have the quality, you take your chances, you can beat them. And I think that's going to happen against Liverpool. We're going to go toe-to-toe, and we're finally fit enough to actually go toe-to-toe. We've got a fit 11. Hopefully nothing happens from now and Sunday and we lose a player. But as long as we have a fit starting 11, nightmare settings. Gabriel Jesus always scores against Liverpool. So it's going to be nightmare settings for Klopp. I can't wait.
What are you saying, Jay? Are you that confident as well?
No. No, I'm not that confident, but I do feel like it's weird because I'm not as scared as I usually am going into Liverpool Arsenal. Usually I write it off and I'm like, it's done. We're not going to touch the ball. Mane, elbow in the face. They're just going to do whatever they're going to do. This time around, I do think that they have some frailties, and Arsenal seem a little bit more prepared to actually put the ball in the back of the net, which I think is ultimately was our issue last time around when we played them at home. We just couldn't put the ball in the back of the net, and we had a couple of chances and we just didn't take advantage of it. I am a little bit worried that like Liverpool have, moved their system a little bit, their formation a little bit to be a little bit more, not as, I don't know, open as they were before. But I expect Arsenal at our place to do something. Like I expect us to play with confidence, play our way, don't be afraid, and go out there and get the 3 points. They still have good players though. And even though Mane's not there, our little nightmare, Diego Jota, is still there. So, he'll pop up after doing nothing this season and score against us. So it's going to be a more difficult game than I think people are saying, because they've been in bad form. But I think it's going to be a real clash. But yeah, if I have to give it like a prediction now, yeah, I think we'll win.
Yeah, I mean, I see a lot of Arsenal fans are confident in this game, and I'm not going to reveal any of my thoughts until my video drops tomorrow, because I'm not going to ruin the content, because that would be detrimental to my lifestyle. I'm only messing, but there we go. Let's have a look at some of these comments that are coming through here. It's at the Emirates. Yes, we know. Thank you very, very much. Maybe someone had a Freudian slip, but there we go. Let's have a look. Come, let's get these comments in here. Let's get some good comments. I want some good ones. Stop talking to each other and talk to us. I want to know what you're all saying. I love hearing my gooners confident, but damn is what Delts P has got to say.
The one thing I will say is that Liverpool fans are now more confident than they were before they played the Rangers game. I've seen there's been a shift now. After Brighton, it was, oh, I'm not sure if we're going to win. It's not just Hussam. Like, a lot of I'm strangely confident for this weekend now because they beat Rangers. I'm telling you guys right now, we are not Rangers. We are not Rangers. That game has no bearing on what Arsenal Liverpool is going to be like. Just saying.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard a few Liverpool fans say that. I don't. Rangers would get relegated from the Prem, so beating them is like beating Bournemouth. It doesn't really make sense to me. If this is what we have to depend on when we have an injury, I am putting humble pie back in the freezer. Love the win, but praying for no injuries. Do you know what I'd say, Cliff, to this though, brother? And I mean this genuinely. KJ, I actually put the shift on myself just because there's 4 people in. That's actually me, brother. I know you turned it off. Sorry. I would say this: barring City, if any team fighting for a top 4 position gets injuries, they're in the same place as Arsenal. So I don't think you're uniquely different to that. Of course, you don't want injuries, so I get why you would pray for that. And also remember, Arsenal's target this year was to progress into the top 4 and to become a title-winning team. So to be ready next year to challenge for a title. When a manager's going into his 3rd, 4th year at a club like Arsenal, if you're not ready to win titles, you have no business being there. You're a massive, massive football club. You're ahead of schedule. Like I always, the one thing I would say to Arsenal fans, and you've got to be careful to push this notion back. If you sort of look like you might be in a title race and then you fall out of it, but you still qualify for the top 4 comfortably, that's beyond your expectations at the beginning of the season. And I know people will say, well, expectations are fluid, but you're going up against Man City. By the way, if you're 20 points clear at the top at Christmas and then you don't win the league, that's a different conversation. But you're neck and neck with City right now. So I think you guys are in a good space. And I wouldn't be panicking about this injury situation as much as some people are. But then maybe it's very easy for me to say because I don't care if you guys win or not, you know?
Nah.
The only position that I am worried about the more I watch somebody play in that position is Sambi and the Thomas Partey position. I watched him today, and I know that we were dominant and fine in this game, but it's something about Sambi Lokonga where I'm just like, can you not run fast? Do you have no intensity? Is there nothing up here telling you like, woo, woo, I need to get back, like I need to run? And I'm just like, this is just somebody that he's doing fine against, lower level opposition, but they have got to go into that January transfer window and bring in somebody, because I feel like that could cost us around the April point. I don't know if you guys have seen our schedule in April. It's really, really tough. So that's the only position I'm really worried about. More worried about that than the striker position. And I think that says a lot, something about Sambi. I'm just like, he just doesn't have a fire under his ass. He's not getting it. Like, am I wrong? Do you guys think Sambi's getting it? Because I don't think Sambi's getting it. I don't think he understands the
You
assignment.
know, the only difference
Massive
I see this season in comparison to others, normally our injuries come in 2s and 3s, and 2-3 players are crucially out, like Tierney, Tomiyasu, and then Partey. Whereas with this season, we somewhat addressed those issues. So even if like Tommy, Tierney and Partey get injured, we've got Zinchenko and White who have done a job, who can play to a similar level. Obviously different, but it's not a drop off. The quality is the same. So that's what makes me confident that, yeah, even if we get a few injuries, yes, your likes of City's, your Liverpool's, your Spurs, you might lose those games because you don't have a Partey, but I'm more confident and more relaxed about the injuries than I've ever been. But yes, you know what it is with Sambi, and it's the same thing I say about Ainsley. Someone needs to slap him before the game. Just give him a old school backhander and just go wake up.
Yeah.
And
He's
I don't know
just
what
not.
if they're too relaxed.
Yeah.
Do they smoke weed before the game or something? Like, I really don't know how you can be that relaxed. Just someone put sleeping tablets in their water or something. I really don't know.
That happened.
just-
That used to happen in football, you know. Do you know that?
Oh.
So to change the subject, Dennis Wise spoke about it. How people used to go to people used to come to Stamford Bridge, and back in those days, the home team would supply the water bottles for the visiting team. So they used to like crush up sleeping tablets and put them into the small amounts into the water bottle so that just to relax and they used to do that to people. This used to really happen in football. Mad. Anyway, sorry, I only learned that today. I was talking to someone that knows about it, and I was like, "That's fucking crazy." We were talking about the Eubank Ben thing, and those things used to happen. Anyway, we digress massively. Sorry, Jason, you were going to say something, mate. I'll unmute you now because there's a bit of background noise.
Oh, I was going to say, no, I was just agreeing with Jess and goodness knows that it's going to be a massive drop off from Partey as well to Lokonga because it's not good enough because we seem to struggle in that midfield area. Teams used to dominate us when Sambi Lokonga is playing as well. So I'm just a bit worried about that position, as well as in terms of with Gabriel, he has been shaking this season as well. Even though as much as I've been enjoying Arsenal winning, but Gabriel's one of them suspect guys this season. So I feel like a centre back is needed as well a little bit, just in case Saliba's injured as well. So worrying signs if like the drop off from Jesus to Nketiah. There's a little bit of a drop off between both sets of teams if you have a second team itself. So that's one of the things I'm worried about. But other than that, it's fine. So far, so good. We're doing our thing. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hear you on that. Yeah, Lokonga's not progressing like you would want him to, and this is what sometimes happens. I mean, this kid was rated, really, really rated. He came a bit earlier than Arsenal wanted. I was very lucky to be able to speak to Christophe Terrell when you were first heavily linked with him, but the progression isn't there for one reason or another, and that just happens. Some youngsters just don't go to that next level, either from the academy or players you buy. And I'm older than all of you. Like I remember when you bought Francis Jeffers, and everybody thought that was going to be the signing, and it didn't work out. And these things happen. But comment here from John C that says Martinelli buzzing in Trent's ear, Jesus winding up Van Dijk, TP teaching a lesson. Jess, Lokonga is young, and that position is hard to learn.
No, I get that. I get that. But he's 22, so he's not like so young. And I just don't think that that's his position. I don't see that as his position. I think he's playing there as a stopgap at the moment. And the way that Vieira's playing when ESR comes back, I'm like, where does he really fit in? But good player, just has no sense of intensity. And in the midfield, I just feel like you have to be intense. Like you can't just be out there floating. So not that Sambi's not good. It's just, yeah, somebody needs to, get him going. That's really what it is for me.
Yeah, listen, I think there are a lot more improvements are needed, and I get the point of protecting your young players, but there also has to come a time where there's realism. We had a player at Man United called Chong, and everyone wanted him to be a star, but every performance I didn't see anything good from him. And I said it, and everyone, oh, how dare you say that? He's young. I'm a Man United fan. Do you know how good some of my academy players have been in my lifetime? So you can tell when someone's got it. Look how long how old is Fabio Vieira?
22.
He's 22.
Yeah.
How old is Lokonga?
22.
22.
And look at the difference. Fabio Vieira straight in, and you see glimpses, moments, prolonged periods in games where he's dominating. Same age. And you don't need how many games into Saka's career did you go, oh, there's a player there?
One.
And like, if you actually went through football, and there'll be an example, but that is the exception that proves the rule. Youngsters that come into your team, the ones that go on to be good enough to lead you to titles, which is the only commodity Arsenal speaking, you see, I think within 5 games, whether they're good enough or not to be the main star. We saw it when Willock and Nelson got promoted a couple of years ago. We were all watching it as football fans, and it's like, they didn't do very much. Like Tidy on the ball might look good, but what was the actual impact they had on games? They were just passengers. And that's not a dig but you're Arsenal Football Club and your standard is there. It isn't here. Like when the standard's here, that's when you end up with Mustafi as one of your main centre backs. And that's not a dig. It's how you guys were. The standard has to be this high, irrespective of academy, how young they are. You've got to have high standards, in my opinion, on these individuals. Another super chat here says, lads, it's just Liverpool.
Liverpool also do this thing where they always go up a couple levels to play against us. I feel like there's something there where they're just like, we refuse to lose to Arsenal. And so let's not put our guard down. Let's remember, like, it's still a really good team, but it's now or never. It's now or never. This team has to perform against them.
100.
You know what I mean? They're not going to roll over.
Yeah, they're not. I mean, that's the thing with these big games. I mean, at some point with Liverpool, they are going to come click again this year, I think, because they're not. I know they look a little bit washed and tired and old, but I still think at some point they're going to find their feet again. They're not going to win the league, but they'll find their feet again. So I think resting. And what's really intriguing is when Man United played them and other teams have played them this year, the approach has been, this is Liverpool. We've got to be at our best. What you don't want to be doing is going in there going, this will be easy, because that's when. You need, I would say that to the Arsenal fans, be confident, but I'd be on socials pushing your players to believe this is really hard. If it gets into that dressing room, this is going to be easy, that could be a problem.
Now, Arteta don't do that, though. Because like even when I remember when we had Norwich, Burnley, and then we had Spurs, and one of the sort of journalists asked Arteta what he's going to do in Northern and Derby 2 games before, and he goes, I don't even know what I'm going to do against Burnley yet, so don't ask me about the future. And that's the difference. Even when you look at the documentary, that makes me more confident that there's no complacency in this team, because he won't allow for it. He will tell them, this is the biggest game of your life. Even when we played the likes of Bournemouth, he'll be telling them, this is the biggest and this is the only match that matters. So I'm confident. And if they are, then the exit door's there and you never come back in. You know, you get locked out of the stadium, you get locked at the training facilities, and you never turn back. And you can't be an Arsenal player, because every game you approach it like it's a final. That's how I've got to play. So if they are complacent, then they're not ready to be Arsenal players.
There we go. Go on, Jace. What are you saying, Jace?
Look, I mean, I understand the confidence, right? So, like, I am confident in how we're playing this season. But against Liverpool, I am confident, but there are quite a few players that can hurt you. The likes of Diaz, even Salah's kind of out of form, but he's one of the type of players that can hurt you. Don't forget that. There's a bit of Jota as well, Firmino, who has great record against us as well. So we need to be wary. We can't be overconfident about it. Like, this is Liverpool by the end of the day. We lost against
and they
another
have
big.
Gabriel in it, so there's that as well. He's a threat.
The difference in this game is probably going to end up being, you know, somebody like Jesus. Like, I think he's going to be the player that's going to give us the ability to really compete against Liverpool and occupy their center backs. And I just remember Van Dijk and Matip not having to work hard against us at all last season. It was very much like a day out. You know, they could have been sitting in their armchairs watching TV, drinking a beer, because Lacazette wasn't going to do anything. And so they need to feel like they're under threat. And Jesus is going to be, for me, he's been the difference all season, but he's somebody that I feel like needs to push us over the line in games like this. I just feel like we've been very blunt up top against these teams, and he's going to be the guy that does it for us, I think.
No, I agree. Do you know what's interesting? I was speaking to a few City fans I know, and he said that Pep did something very unusual with Gabriel. Every time they came to playing Liverpool, he would rest him in the 2 previous games, because one of the things he noticed when you play Liverpool is how intense you've got to press from the top, and that's what Gabriel Jesus gives you. So what he does is he prepares Jesus to be ready for this game, and I think that's going to be the difference making, is the fact that he can press, he can do the like, and finally we've got what I wanted is a hybrid of Aubameyang and Lacazette, someone who can do the hold up but also be there to finish the opportunities, which is going to make Van Dijk think twice about just chilling and playing those high lines. And we can expose him in behind because we've got the pace, but he can also he can be the assister rather than the goal scorer, and he can still be just as effective. Or if we need him to just be a striker, he's got that in his locker as well. So Klopp doesn't really know how to approach this game for the first time, But if you play the likes of Nketiah, you know you're getting a fox in the box, someone who's going to run in behind, so you prepare for that. You know how to prepare for Lacazette because he's a hold-up striker, whereas with Gabriel, he's both. How do you prepare for someone who can do it all? It's the same with trying to stop Messi, Ronaldo, and Haaland. Like, how do you approach for that?
Yeah, I really want to say some stuff, but I want to save it for my show tomorrow. But
Terry's going to say Arsenal win. I'm telling you. I'm predicting tomorrow's show. He's going to say Arsenal's a clinical side. It's going to be Arsenal 2, Liverpool 1. Liverpool's going to get absolutely smashed. I'll say that's my prediction. Spoiler alert.
Are you saying unpredictable, Jason? What are you saying, dude?
I mean, you gassed up Arsenal so much, so
I have, but it's only because I mean it. And look, it's
totally understand that.
It's going to be an intriguing one. I've seen Liverpool's defense struggle against teams with less speed, less quality, less dynamism than Arsenal. So tune in tomorrow. That'll be tomorrow afternoon. That'll be dropping ahead of course, the top 6 shows out at 6 p.m. tomorrow. That's going to be great. Igal's on and a few others as we build up and preview the weekend games and, of course, the big one, Liverpool traveling to the Emirates Stadium. Everyone that has tuned in this evening, a big thank you to each and every single one of you. Jessica, Gunnar Souls, Jason, thank you. And, of course, the gal that jumped in as well, my super chatters, everybody that's hit the like button. Please make sure you share this across your social media platforms. You subscribe to the Football Terrace. But until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And I'll see you all soon.